Recruitment and selection of black, Asian, minority ethnic officers. BAME is the term they use today. There seems to be a real big push. Where have the police force been for the last 10 years trying to recruit black, Asian and minority ethnic citizens into the force?
Yeah. The police service is the community are the police. I'll keep going back to that because it means a lot to me. In many ways the police haven't been recruiting for the last few years. But when you look at the communities we serve, what I find really interesting is that people from a BAME background are less likely to apply for the police service, are less likely to see it as a career of choice. Which for me I think is a surprise in that it's such a great career for people that do join us. But that's not right, and if I was to sit here and say our relationships with local communities is really, really good, why aren't people from our local community seeing it as a viable career then? And at that stage we've got to accept that that's not right. So we're working very hard now. We as an organisation, our makeup of BAME background is about 5.9% of the organisation, which bears no resemblance to the communities that we serve. We've done a whole host of work to encourage people to join the police service, to make people aware of the different careers and pathways within the police service. And I think when we represent the communities we serve, I can genuinely say to you that we've got confidence of the communities that we're trying to serve. Can I say that at this moment in time? No, probably not. At this moment in time, the current recruitment, we're recruiting 600 officers this year and another 200 officers next year. And the applications we've currently got, there's about 22% of those are from a BAME background, which is fantastic news and reflects well that we are engaging better with communities, and communities have now got confidence in us. But we need to keep on that journey of encouraging people to join.
I think it's because of the historical negative perception, and justified, I may say, of what the police was in the 60s, 70s, probably early 80s. But I'm hoping that the police will recognise that historical negative perception and perhaps do a lot more about it to heal those wounds.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. I wasn't in the police service in the 60s or the 70s, but I do see sometimes and hear when I speak to yourself consequences of policing back in the 60s and 70s and people's perceptions of policing, and then I compare that to how we police nowadays and the very different conversations we have around me talking around vulnerability, around protecting communities and working alongside communities and protecting their human rights. We're a very different organisation than we used to be, but I do think a lot of organisations say that, but I actually think we mean it, and I think the way we do police is different. I'm sat here very proud of how we engage with communities, and I'm really, really proud of where we're at in relation to positive action to encourage everybody within the community to see policing as a viable career going forward.
Well, you just brought me on to the next question there, positive action. It's been around since 1976, and I know in the 2010 Equality Act it was used. Why now? Why are the police using it now? And can you briefly explain what is positive action, please?
Positive action is where you proactively encourage people to join the police force or to apply to join the police service and give them support to join the police service. Look, I was really, really lucky. My father was a police officer. He understood policing. He gave me some advice and some guidance as to how to complete an application form. If my father hadn't been a part of the police service, I'd never got that advice and guidance. Well, that's not fair, is it? Where there's people in other communities that don't have family members in the police service that don't get that same level of advice and guidance. And we need to level that playing field so it's fair for all applicants to join the police service. That's positive action. The standard to become a police officer is still set. So people have got to hit the right standard. If you lower the standard for people from different backgrounds, that turns into positive discrimination, which is not what we're doing. What we want to do is ensure that we get the best talent into West Yorkshire Police that we possibly can from all backgrounds, from all communities that we serve here in West Yorkshire.
How does the rank and file officers think about that? Those who've been in, let's say, 20 years, 15 years, how do they feel about the police now actually using a government piece of legislation to recruit more black, Asian and minority ethnic?
It's not a particularly good piece of legislation. We've been doing this for years, encouraging people to apply for the police service from a whole host of backgrounds, but frankly it hasn't worked. It didn't work, and then we've had a freeze on recruitment, and actually we're losing police officers, not gaining police officers. So we're now back into that territory of recruiting again. If you speak to the rank and file about us opening up policing as broad as we can and encouraging the most talented people that we can find to join the police service, they're wholeheartedly in favour of that. And actually, regardless of background.